Good morning, aspirants. It's 13th of October today, and I welcome you all on today's edition of What to Read in the Hindu newspaper. I'm 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝘆 𝗡𝗲𝗄𝐺, Senior Mentor at Prepp IAS. While going through the articles, we will not only see its relevance with regard to prelims and mains, but we'll also try and interlink it with other GS papers as well. I'm here to align your newspaper reading as a part of our GS syllabus. So let's get started. The very first article that is there in the paper and that catches our attention primarily talks about recent digs in Tamil Nadu. Tenkasi reveals presence of Iron Age culture. So when we map this particular article in our syllabus, this will fall under GS paper 1 under the theme history, wherein Indian culture, its salient aspect from art, literature, and architecture from ancient to modern times can be linked. From prelims perspective, ancient India, archaeological sites, what is Iron Age culture, what is the duration that it was there, Sangam era and its connection with Iron Age, all these angles can be explored. So for other arenas of prelims that can be read and revised in a manner, location-based questions has always been favorite when it comes to prelims perspective. So 𝗗𝗏𝗃𝗃, Sivagali, Iron Age context with regard to these sites can be linked. Then urn burial, black and red ware pottery, white painted pottery, type of megalithic culture and its major sites, all these angles can be explored. From mains perspective, if this article is to be seen, we can see it with regard to importance of archaeological excavation in reconstructing early Indian history, role of Tamil Nadu in Iron Age culture and development. We can even interlink with linkages with other sites such as Kizadi that has been explored very recently and the continuity of civilization afterwards. In this manner, this particular article is to be holistically read and revised for our exam. Moving on, the next important article that is there in the paper and is on editorials page that majorly talks about the great Nicobar project that is there in news and has been a pioneer project from the government. So the arenas and the issues arising because of this particular angle with infrastructure, transshipments, and major port development that is there related to this particular project is being questioned from time to time. So when we map this particular article in our syllabus, this will fall under GS paper 2, wherein issues relating to development and management of social sector services that involves environment, forest, and tribal rights can be linked. GS paper 3, wherein conservation, environmental impact assessment, that is EIA, and biodiversity can be linked. This is even relevant for GS paper 4 ethics, wherein environmental ethics and intergenerational justice came into being when we read this article. The key theme that has been discussed in this particular article, when we go through it thoroughly, talks about the great Nicobar mega project that raises several questions in a form of critical questions about environmental justice, tribal rights, tribal resettlement, and the concept of granting legal personhood to nature, that is right to nature. Which was the first country that it used? In India's case, whether this status has been given to any forest area or river, that all these angles can be explored. For prelims perspective, the major themes that we have to revise when we go through this particular article is Forest Right Act of 2006, its key provisions, Nyamgiri Hills Judgment of 2013, wherein Gram Sabha powers has been declared, like what all the provisions that they have, Uttarakhand High Court Judgment of 2017, wherein legal personhood to river has been discussed. You have to tell me which river was majorly given personhood by Uttarakhand High Court. For mains perspective, right of nature, global jurisprudence, like which all countries have given it as of now, Then the conflict between economic development and ecological conservation has always been there. So you need to know about the various arguments for each of these concepts. Application of Forest Right Act in island ecosystem, in particular Andaman and Nicobar. Why this is important? Then we need to know about various and several case studies that has been that can be quoted as an example and put as an argument in our essay and also in ethics paper, such as Great Nicobar Hills, Great Nicobar project, afterwards Niamgiri Hills, then Atrato River case of Colombia, that can even be quoted while going through this particular article. This is how this article is to be read holistically, interlinking several points and angles from our GS papers, and we need to revise not only this particular article, but other peripheral areas also. Then the next important article that is just next to it and is being mentioned here, mature relationship. So this talks about India-UK maturity in economic diplomacy. So when we map this article in our syllabus, this will fall under GS paper 2, India and its bilateral relationships, effects of policy and politics of developed countries on India's interest. This can even be interlinked with GS paper 3, defense and economic linkages. The key theme that has been discussed in this particular article, if I have to tell you in just 2 lines, this majorly talks about the evolving India-UK relationship under PM Keir Starmer that marks a shift towards pragmatic sectoral cooperation. Which sectors that is he talking about? And this article talks about trade, defense, education, and cultural diplomacy. So when we filter out which all areas is important for prelims, we can underline a defense deal that has been majorly done. That talks about Euro 350 million missile deal. Then key sector of India-UK relationship cooperation under this visit is about trade, FDI, and education. From mains perspective, if we got to find out certain arenas that needs our attention is about India-UK strategic economic partnership, its continuity, and what change has it brought, post-Brexit opportunities and challenges that UK has and even India has, then soft power diplomacy. For example, Bollywood universities, then diaspora linkages, food, so even history as well. So in this angle, in this manner, this particular article is to be holistically read. The next important article that is there in the paper and that catches our attention is about global doors, measured steps. When we map this particular article, this will fall under GS paper 2, wherein structure, organization, and functioning of judiciary is to be read and revised. From the topmost judiciary to the subordinate courts. For GS paper 2 as well, investment environment and regulatory reforms is to be read and revised. The key theme that has been discussed in this particular article, if I have to tell you in just 2 lines, majorly talks about India's positioning itself as a global arbitration destination through 2025 Bar Council change of rules, balancing domestic legal sovereignty and international openness as well. So for prelims perspective, I have underlined certain things that is relevant from this particular article, such as we need to know about Bar Council of India 2025 new rules, foreign law firm regulations, how it is being done. A new concept and a term has been introduced in this particular article that talks about fly in and fly out. What is it? Legal advice rule of 2018 Supreme Court judgment that needs to be taken care of. Afterwards, relevance for prelims when we map this particular article and the areas that we have to look into is judicial reforms and legal infrastructure modernization. What has been the steps so far taken in this regard? Role of arbitration in ease of doing business, reciprocity principle, what is it? And controlled liberalization and legal services as well. Tagore's capacity to receive and Lincoln's walk slow strategy. It's a symbolic of India's gradual institutional evolution. concluding remark has been given in this particular manner that can be used as an example and as an argument in our ethics paper, essay paper as well. So in this manner, this particular article is to be read and revised. And the last important article that is there in the paper and that catches our attention talks about natural farming in Himachal Pradesh. So it gains traction in Himachal. How it is being done? State government is focusing on it and supporting it. So when we map this particular article, this will fall under GS paper 3, agriculture, wherein cropping pattern, usage of e-technology, subsidies, MSP, then sustainable agriculture, green revolution 2.0. All these arenas is to be read and revised. For GS paper 2, when we map this particular article, will hold relevance with regard to government schemes and policies. Afterwards, the key theme that has been discussed in this particular article talks about Himachal Pradesh state government has launched a flagship scheme named as Prakartik Kheti Kushal Kisan Yojana that represents India's state-led shift towards sustainable and chemical-free agriculture. Every state has their own set of certain flagship schemes, and Himachal government in agriculture field has launched this particular scheme to focus upon chemical-free agriculture and promote natural farming. So we need to know about the provisions of this particular flagship schemes and how, if it is beneficial, can be replicated by other state governments as well. Afterwards, MSP for natural crops such as maize, wheat, and turmeric is being announced by state government of Himachal Pradesh when certain crops is grown naturally. So can this be a feasible option to replicate in other states and also across India as well? From mains perspective, this particular article is to be mapped through the lens of sustainable agricultural models, role of state policy and farmer incentive policy, environmental and health benefits of natural farming, replicability across India for doubling farmers' income and achieving SDG 12. So this is how this particular article is to be read and revised. This is all from my end for today's Hindu newspaper. Till we meet for the next time, take care and goodbye.